I joined the choir in 2013. I was in grade 11, and now, so I've been in the choir nearly 7 years this September. I am a music student and a pianist, and so it has influenced the way I look at arranging music, because as a pianist I think you're geared more towards the texture of a piece of music, which is basically the way the interlocking parts work together and the different characteristics that that might have, whether it's chordal or whether it's different melodies sounding at the same time.
What about When the Party's Over? What inspired you about it, and what in it for you called for an arrangement?
So I think personally what often appeals to me when I'm listening to a song is whether I can sing along to it. Like, I have quite eclectic taste usually, but generally the bottom line is that I'll like a song if I can sing along. And that was a song where you could sing the tune and you could sing an alto parts and you could improvise a little soprano parts, and so I thought it was just begging for it to be written down.
You were writing it before you were writing it.
Yeah, that sounds so... sounds so... But no, I mean, no, it wasn't like that. It was just, I mean, I'm often kind of on the lookout for interesting pop songs to arrange. The choir likes to sing modern, contemporary, relatable songs that our audience will enjoy, and I think that song in particular was a perfect example of that. The first time I heard it, I remember thinking, wow, I wonder if there's an a cappella choir version of this. And then I googled it, and then I saw there were a few, and yeah, they were nice, but a lot of them were recorded sort of without extra voice recording equipment. It was just using a camera as microphone, so it wasn't the purest recording to begin with. And then also it took her vocal parts, and usually, as it would have just been sung by her, it was just then sung by the altos or the sopranos, and it's very difficult actually to sing that melody because it has a 2-octave range. Just the first verse has a 2-octave range, and that proves how amazing she is, because she sings
incredible at 17.
At 17. Yeah, at 17 she sings this piece with a 2-octave range. So rather than force our ladies to do that, I rather just spread it out between the voice parts. So the tenors start, then altos, then sopranos, and that way everyone is just singing comfortably within their range. In the original song, I always thought silence was basically as important as the sound.
Yeah.
And so in the arrangement, we use silence a lot. And there's some very long rests, and occasionally I actually extended that just to build extra tension, because you don't know what's going to happen next. What are you going to hear next?
Yeah.
And then we sing. And what I also really loved about it is that it definitely follows, in my opinion, like human breath. And so each phrase will kind of start from nothing, breathe in, and then breathe out. And it's something that Leon actually speaks about quite a lot when we're singing.
Yeah.
But every phrase should have a beginning and a middle and an end, and you have to try build tension through the phrase and then eventually let it go. Along with that is that continuous sort of lilting, rocking, bum, 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 bum. Don't do that! No. Give it a little...
And then inherent waltz in it.
Yeah, well, I don't even think of it as a waltz. I think of it more as a lullaby. It's more of a rocking, like, I was joking about it and calling it the ebb and flow of existential woe.
Yes.
Or universal woe? What did I call it? I can't remember. But it did. It has that, like, watery boat bobbing on an endless ocean of probably misery, probably not anything happy.
We talked before about the difficulty of having many brains all working on the same project.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make a song usually sung by just one person be sung by 36 people and still sound intimate? And I think that is created in that atmosphere. And you can say as much as you want describing how quiet it needs to be, how sensitive you need to be, but I don't think anyone could ever say enough words to make everyone completely clear on exactly the same idea. Rather, it just needs to be felt by the choir as a whole. I mean, it's quite a cliche, but you do feel, as a member of the choir, this choir, maybe choirs in general, but for me in particular this choir, as sort of a small cog in a much bigger machine, and a small part in something that's much more than the sum of its parts. when everyone's breathing in together and breathing out together, and really, really on the same wavelength, even if for only 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, the song is just over 3 minutes. I'm not sure if I expected it to be important to me whether people really enjoyed singing it or not, but the first time we sang through the piece, even though it was slowly and even though it was just counting out the rhythm, not singing it on text, the little appreciative and like murmurs and whispers in the rests felt so good. That's just me like enjoying other people's joy in singing it, but I didn't expect to feel that way, but I really did.
And can you describe the process of the song from a little baby idea and your process of working through it?
Leon didn't request the song. I got in contact with him and I said, hey, here's this really, really beautiful song. I really love it. I really want to arrange it for the choir. What do you think? And once Leon gave me the go-ahead, I was very inspired, as I get. I tend to work very hard on something in a very inspired burst of energy and then leave it. Because if I leave it, then I never have to finish it. So I just leave it. If I never have to finish it, then it never has to be perfect. It has to be perfect once I finish it. I kind of wrote the first half and then left it for about 2 months. And then I hear from Leon again, Estelle, please finish the arrangement. I want to sing it as soon as possible. I finished the rest of the arrangement between 4 p.m. one afternoon and 7 a.m. the next morning. I mean, I did sleep, but I finished it in the early hours of the morning. And you have to keep in mind that my arrangement, as I'd heard it up to that point, was being performed on synthesized clarinet sounds on Sibelius. So you have no idea how it's actually going to sound when it's sung by voices, and not just voices, but very, very good voices. Once the arrangement had been put on the internet and printed out, and that happened that day, I finished the arrangement at about 7 a.m. Leon put it on the website at 11, and we recorded it that evening, which was brilliant because it was still so fresh in my mind, and there were still many typos in the score because I hadn't gone over it with a fine-tooth comb.
You'd slept, but you'd not slept that much.
No. So the first time I heard the choir singing it was the very day that I'd finished writing it, and I was so relieved that it sounded the way I'd hoped it was going to sound. I don't know how clarinets play it, fake clarinets play it, which is, it's not a good sound. It sounds like, have you ever heard a kazoo?
Oh,
it sounds
beautiful.
like many kazoos. And I wrote this in like 8 parts, so it sounds like 8 individual kazoos sounding at the same time, so it didn't sound good.
What is your favorite part? And why is your favorite? Give the thing.
I have a favorite part.
Yes.
Call me friend, but keep me closer. It was odd because I'd already identified it as my favorite part, and then I gave it more thought, and I had even more reasons why it was my favorite part that I hadn't even realized. The reason I liked it to begin with was that it's only the ladies singing. They all start on one note. They all start on an E, and then the note, the voices are very close together, and then they gradually get more and more and more spaced out, and the harmony is more sparse. The line ends and it's still in need of resolution.
It suits the lyrical content
I
as well.
hadn't even realised that until I gave it another look, and I thought, call me friend but keep me closer, which is obviously a play on keep your friends close but your enemies closer. And then as she's singing that text, the voices are getting further and further away from one another, and I hadn't even noticed. I did that completely without thinking.
Style.
So it was a little accidental gem.
Moment of genius.
Yeah, a little happy accident that happened there, and thinking back on it, I really quite proud.
Proud,
it wasn't
proud.
on purpose, but quite proud.
And I'm also proud.
Gotta give that to the fans.
Big fan.
Gotta give that to the fans.
Lads. Thank you.
Thank you.